It's very cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, madam.
Your Excellency, welcome back home.
Thank you.
All right. We just returned from the extraordinary summit of the African Union, which, among other things, discussed Africa's relationship with the International Criminal Court. Now, what is your assessment of the summit?
Well, it's not as successful as I would have expected it, but it's a great step forward, though there's still a lot of ambiguity as to what are we going to do next if our demands are not met. But overall, it is good that we sat down to discuss and to discuss pertinent issues, because I don't think that we should be reacting, but we should be proactive. Why? They started with Bashir. Nobody said anything. Now they come to, the question is, why now? Bashir was never referred to the ICC by any African government as far as we are concerned. It was the Security Council that referred Bashir to the ICC, and they issued an arrest warrant. Now, we should have started from there to say we are not going to accept a sitting African president be indicted without even going through the AU. But nobody said anything, because most of us are working for them. So it was like, oh, it's Bashir, it's this, we were fighting against it. In fact, in Tripoli, they almost endorsed the arrest warrant. And I stood up to Gaddafi and I told him that is not going to happen here. Because next it could be you. You know, so we are not going to accept this, because they didn't have the courtesy to tell us that this is what he has done wrong. After all, it's an internal African matter. When did the Europeans start caring about Africans? When thousands of Africans are dying on their shores every day. Imagine if 5 Europeans died at the coast of Gambia every year. What would the EU do? Issue a travel advisory and they say all sorts of things. But thousands of Africans are dying every year on the European coast, and nothing is being said about it. So I told them that this is not going to happen, and it didn't happen. I made sure that I was about to come home, but I stood my grounds in Tripoli, and the AU didn't endorse the arrest warrant. Okay. So it was like, literally, Bashir was on his own. He didn't stand up for more than 10 years. Now you come back and say, oh, a few countries, oh, this is unacceptable. Why? It's not about Kenya. It's about some people among us that know that there are certain elements, if they are arrested and they have committed horrendous war crimes, if they are arrested and prosecuted, some heads of state would be indicted. So it's a question of trying to save ourselves. But where it started, it's a matter of principle. If you are opposed to something, you have to be opposed to it from the beginning. It has to be based on a principle. But you don't have to wait until when you smell a rat and you say, oh, no, with the ICC is targeting Africans. Most of the cases before the ICC, except that of Bashir, were referred to the ICC by the African governments. Okay? Now, in the case of Kenya, the ICC should have been more flexible, because these two gentlemen were referred to the ICC by a government that these people opposed. And it was a political move to make sure that they will not win election. Imagine if you are indicted and you stand and campaign as a candidate. In fact, that was what the other side was saying. Oh, if you vote for these people, you don't have a president because they are indicted by the ICC. So their indictment was before they became heads of state. Now that they are now the people that have been elected by the Kenyan people, knowing that they have been indicted by the ICC, the Kenyan people are telling us, whatever you accuse them of, we don't care about that. What we care about is that we trust them and we want them to lead us. I think the ICC and the AU should have encouraged reconciliation by handing over the case either to Kenya or leave it as it is, stop the case. But the ICC, because these are young African heads of state, and the West, they are not comfortable with young African heads of state. And this, Uhuru Kenyatta Jomo Kenyatta. We know how he stood up for independence for Kenya. So his son or grandson, if he stands and wants to follow the same footsteps, of course the West that colonized Africa would not be comfortable. But the idea of now taking a sitting head of state to the Hague and be escorted by Dutch police is unacceptable. So my position is, it is unacceptable and it is not, shouldn't be accepted. Even the case of the father is out of the question. They should stop the case, hand over the matter to the Kenyan authorities. Let them set up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. After all, they didn't insist the ICC taking the case of South African whites who butchered Africans for hundreds of years. They say, oh, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and that's it. It's accepted. Oh, it's an example, it's a model. Why can't we use the same model for Kenya? After all, the same model was used for Liberia. But because they want to get rid of these two young people, we will not accept that. So our principle is, it's not a case of deferral. The ICC should stop this case and hand it over to the Kenyans. If the Kenyans now say, we still want the case to go to court, let it go to court. But the government that sent the matter, that referred the matter to the ICC, is no longer there. So the ICC should not follow the case and call sitting heads of state to come and testify, escorted by police. That's unacceptable. Yes.
Your Excellency.
Ayo, don't let me in Porcato.